everybody, my name is Tim Muting. I'm with CA Technologies, and today I've got Dan O'Brien here with me. He's going to give us a little demonstration around release automation. Dan, what are we going to see today?
Sure, so what we're going to do today is we're going to deploy a full application using release automation, and we're going to leverage CA Lisa Service Virtualization. So essentially what we're going to do is, rather than waiting for the constraints of hardware and environments to be built and ready for us to do our testing, we have the ability to deploy a virtualized service so we can get all those same responses back that we need to test our code changes on very rapidly.
Good. Sounds very good. Let's see how it works.
Okay. Okay, so in this case, what we want to do is we have a simple change to a deployed application, and we want to be able to test that change. It's just in this case, it's a small change to the front-end web UI. But in order to test even the simplest changes, a QA person or a tester is going to need the entire environment. So they're going to need everything from the database, the application, any external components that are necessary to do the test. But the problem is they're not always available when we need them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually do a release of this application, and we're going to release it using a virtualized backend. So we're going to use CA Lisa Service Virtualization to create and deploy the entire environment virtualized so that we can test out the changes that were just made to the front-end web UI. So let's go ahead and go into the template here, and we'll create a new release. Just give it a name here, Forward Inc. VS for virtual service. We'll go ahead and give it a version. And we'll put it in the environment for virtualized services environment, okay? We'll go ahead and do that. And hit create. And so what's going to happen now is we'll run the initialization step. So in this case, what we're doing is we're going out to the source control repositories, and we're determining if there's, if we have the right files, the right versions are out there, we can access them. And we're also determining what server and what virtualized services we're going to use for this deployment. Once that initialization step completes, we'll go ahead and actually deploy that virtual service. Okay, so you see here we read in the initialization, we read the manifest file, and we can see that for this deployment it's simply just two items that we have to deploy. One is we'll go ahead and deploy the full application web UI. Okay, then everything else behind that we're going to virtualize using service virtualization from CA. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. Okay, and then that's going to go ahead and run. And while this is happening, you see here within it we are using continuous integration by Jenkins, and we already have a continuous integration job for this ticket exchange for Forward Inc. What will happen is we're going to create a new one as a result of this new deployment using virtualized services. We'll create a new continuous integration job as well, so that we can keep keep the builds up to date with when new items are checked into the repository. And you see here now we've deployed the ticket exchange web UI. We're actually going ahead and deploying that virtualized web service right now. And then when that's done, we'll just go into the post deploy, and we'll just do a quick sanity test using Lisa, and of course we'll go ahead and create that continuous integration job. Okay, so that's done, and it'll roll over to post deployment, and it'll run those two items. Once the test is run, what we can do from a notification perspective is send an email off to the folks who need it to see if the tests were successful. So let's just fire up the mail program, and I'll show you that. And you see here that every minute or so, every so often, we have a job that runs, and it just tests to make sure that we can hit the site, we can hit all the way through to the back end, so we can exercise the database, the external authentication, make sure everything works, and we attach a full report of that test case right there. Okay, and then we can see here that the test case is complete, the continuous integration job is running. If I go over to Jenkins and I just reload this page, what we'll see here is that we have now a new forwarding virtualized service continuous integration job that's been created by CA Release Automation. And there you have it.
So Dan, we saw release automation, CA Release Automation, and we talk about how it really helps to streamline and speed up, manage that whole application delivery process itself, the deployment process. we integrated that with CA Lisa Service Virtualization. Talk a little bit more about the specifics around that.
Yeah, sure. And so the key benefits for service virtualization is eliminating the constraints that we normally see as developers and as testers. We need environments, and we need them right away, right now, for testing code changes. And oftentimes we find that those environments are not ready. We just have resource constraints. Maybe we don't have the amount of environment needed to perform the amount of tests we need to make, particularly in an agile development methodology. So service virtualization removes those constraints and allows us to perform our testing right away when we're ready to do so.
Fantastic, very good. For more demonstrations like this around CA Lisa service virtualization as well as release automation, visit ca.com.